Comrades, today we gather here in a respectful mood to commemorate the 20th anniversary of Karl Marx's birth, honor his character and historical feast, and relive his spirit and thoughts. Karl Marx is a revolutionary leader for world proletariat and working people, and the main founder for Marxism. He is also the creator for Marxist Party and pioneer for international communism. He is the greatest thinker in modern times. After 2 centuries, the international community has undergone profound and deep changes, but the name of Karl Marx is still highly respected worldwide, and his theory still shines through with the bright light of truth. On May 5th, 1818, Marx was born in a lawyer's family in Trier of Germany. During his high school years, he has already made it his goal to working for the well-being of the human race. In his college years, he studied philosophy and laws and history, and discovered the secret for development of human society. During his working with the Rhine, he criticized the autocracy of the Prussian government and safeguarding people's rights. In 1843, he moved to Paris, and he began to participate in workers' movement. And in the combination of practice with theory, he completed the transfer from idealism to materialism, and from revolutionary democratism to communism. In 1845, Marx and Friedrich Engels compiled the Germany ideology, and for the first time systematically elaborated historical materialism. In 1848, Marx and Engels together compiled the Communist Manifesto. After its publication, it shocked the entire world. Engels said, "The Communist Manifesto is the most widespread and most universal work in all socialist literature. It is a common program recognized by workers from West Siberia to California." In 1848, the Europe capitalist democratic revolution broke out. Marx participated in it and guided this revolution. After its failure, he concluded the lessons of the revolution, seeking to systematically study political economy to unveil the nature and law of capitalism. In 1867, the Das Kapital was published, which is the deepest and richest work of Marxism. It is known as the Bible for the working class. In his later years, Marx still followed closely the world development and workers' movement, endeavored to thinking of the development of human society from a bigger perspective. The life of Karl Marx is a life with a great purpose of fighting for the liberalization of human race. In 1835, in the age of 17, Marx wrote in his high school graduation paper, "If we choose a career that can help the people the most, there's no longer any burden that will crush us, because we made sacrifice for all. By then we will no longer indulge ourselves in pitiful, limited, and selfish joy. Our joy will belong to millions, and our cause will exist, although silently, it will continue to carry through. When faced with our ash, the noble people will shed their tears." In all his life, he tasted the bitterness of displacement and illness and poverty, but he never changed his heart and will, and fighting for human liberalization. It is fair to say that he lived a great life. The life of Karl Marx is a life of seeking truth despite all the difficulties. Marx once wrote, "There is no smooth road in science. Only those who continue to climb despite the difficulties will reach the glorious peak." In order to establish the scientific theoretical system, he has undergone hardships unimaginable to others and finally reached the glorious peak. He read large amount of books in all fields, study philosophy, social sciences, but also he known and studied all natural science knowledge, trying to gain nutrients from all civilization results of human race. He has been working hard all of his life. He used to work 16 hours a day. In his letter to a friend, he said that in order to write Das Kapital, he has been wondering on the edge of the grave. And he said, "I have to use every moment that I can work to finish this book." Even in his later years, he continued to usher into new fields of science and goals. He take down massive notes on history, anthropology, and math. Angus once said, "In every field that Marx studied, and even in math, he has unique findings. There are many fields as such, and none of these fields, and in all of these fields, he endeavors to dig deeper." The life of Marx is a life fighting to overthrow the old world and establish a new world. Engels once said, Marx is first and foremost a revolutionist. Fighting is an essential factor to his life. There are few people as passionate, as resilient, and as effective as him in fighting. He has made it his lifelong goal to fight for the liberalization of the human race and change people's fight of exploitation and oppression. Marxism participated in the workers' movements. He has always been at the front line of revolutions. He led to build the first proletariat party, that is the Communist League, and led the first international workers' union, the International Workers' Association. He supported the first revolution of the working class, the Commune de Paris. With all passion and resilience, he pushed forward and advanced the workers' movement of around the world. He is truly a great man, but also an ordinary man. He loves life. He's authentic, down to earth, and compassionate. The friendship between Marx and Engels lasted more than 40 years. As Lenin once said, there are many moving and touching legends about friendship, but the friendship of Marx and Engels has exceeded all legendary stories about friendship. He participated in revolutions even in the hardest years of his life. He tried his best to help the comrades. He and his wife, Jenny, has undergone thick and thin together and write a beautiful musical of ideals and affection. Comrades, the most valuable, influential spiritual wealth left by Marxism is the scientific theory named after his name, Marxism. This theory can be compared to the spectacular sunrise which shines through people's discovery of the law of history and seeking liberalization. Marx once said, criticism cannot replace real weapon. Material power can only be destroyed by other material powers. But once the theory is mastered by the public, it will become material power. Marxism Marxism is combined by philosophy, political economy, and scientific socialism. These three pillars originate from Germany classic philosophy, in the UK's classic political economy, and French utopian socialism. But the reason why Marxism is formed is due to his perspective of the time and the world. It is due to the deep understanding of the development law of the human society. Marx once said, the Communist Party members and the theory is not based on any theory or principle that is found by any revolutionist in the world. These theories are only descriptions and statement of the currently existing class struggle and the historical movement in front of us. In a long history of human race, we perceived the essence of this movement and the development trend for time. His scientific research, like Lenin described, everything that is created by the human society, he rediscussed them with a critical perspective and ignore none. Everything that is established by human thoughts, he put them into test in the workers' movement and rediscuss and criticize them, and reach the conclusion that will be impossible for those who are limited and confined by the bias of capitalism. Marx's thoughts and theory originated from that time, but exceeded that time. It is the essence of the spirit of that time, but also the essence of the entire human race spirit. Marxism is a scientific theory. It unveils the development law of human society. Before the concept of scientific socialism was raised, there were already utopian socialists. They are compassionate enough to have many beautiful ideals of the society, but they did not unveil the development law of society or the effective path to realize the ideals. Therefore, it was impossible for them to really play an important part for social development. Marx established historical materialism and surplus value theory, unveils the general law for human society development, as well as the operation of capitalism, pointing the path for human race, as well as the path for people to realize liberalization and freedom. Marxism is the theory of the people. It for the first time established a systematical thought for people to realize its own liberalization. It is profound and deep, but it all comes down to one thing, that is to seek liberalization of the human race. Before Karl Marx, the dominant theory only works for the dominant class. Marxism, for the first time, stands at the perspective of the common people while seeking paths for human liberalization. Its goal is to use the scientific theory to establish a world without oppression, exploitation, and is equal, everybody is equal and free. Marxism has the influence that can go across the border and across time is precisely because it's deeply rooted in human beings. And the right path is to depend on people to advance the progress of history. Marxism is a theory of practice. It guides people's efforts to change the world. Marx once said, all social life, in essence, is practical. Philosophers may try to interpret the world in different ways, but the key is how to change the world. The practicalness and the viewpoint of life is the basic point of Marxism. Practicalness is the most distinguished characters for Marxism. Marxism does not only exist in the study room. Its purpose is to change people's fate, and is formed in the practice of people's efforts to realize liberalization, and is also enriched and developed in a process. It is indeed a powerful source of spirit for the people to recognize and change the world. Marxism continues to develop. It's an open theoretical system that always stands at the front line of the time. Karl Marx keeps telling people that the theory of Marxism is not a doctrine, but a guidance to action. Therefore, it has to evolve with the time and practice. The development history of Marxism is a history of continuing to evolve and upgrade the theory by Marx, Engels, and their descendants, and they are trying to enrich this history and learning from all outstanding historical cultural results. And that is also why Marxism can stay young and up to date, discover new topics, respond to new challenges of the human society. Comrades, the Communist Manifesto was established 170 years ago. And since then, Marxism has been widespread worldwide. In humans' history of thoughts, there is no other thoughts or theory that can have such a widespread and profound influence on human race like Marxism. With the leadership of Marx himself, with the guidance of Marxism, workers' organizations such as the First International was established and developed. In different times, they provide guidance to the alliance and fight of international workers' movements. With the influence of Marxism, the Marxist parties has sprung and established and developed. The people, for the first time, became the master of its own destiny. and became the basic political power for their own liberalization and the liberalization of the human race. The October Revolution led by Lenin was a success. Socialism has transformed from theory to reality. It broke the world scale where capitalism is the sole dominant power. After the ending of the World War II, a large number of socialist countries were born, during which the establishment of the People's Republic of China has empowered the socialist power of the world. Despite the setbacks and twists and turns of socialism in its development, the general trend for human society remained unchanged and will not change in the future. Marx and Engels proactively supported the liberalization for the ethnics and people who are under oppression. After a 20th century, Marxists, represented by Lenin, inherited and developed the Marxist ethnic theory and guide and support the liberalization movement in colonist and semi-colonist countries. After the Second World War, a large number of countries who has newly gained their independence and liberalization were established and completely overturned the colonist system of imperialism. All ethnic groups communicate on an equal basis, and the future remains brighter than ever. Today, Marxism has advanced the progress of human civilization and is still a thought system and dialogue system with international influence. And Marx himself is still recognized as the first thinker of the millennium. Comrades, Marxism not only profoundly changed the world, but also profoundly changed China. The Chinese people, in its thousands of years of history, has created splendid Chinese culture, contributing to the progress of human civilization. But in 1840, the Opium War broke out, and the Western countries blasted open the gate of China with their cannons, and the Chinese nation was trapped in a tragic situation with internal and external threats. The invasion of imperialism and the pains and sufferings of the Chinese people has raised the concern of Marx. During the Second Opium War, Marx wrote a dozen of communications on China, unveiled to the world the truth of the invasion by the Western countries to China, and calls for justice for the Chinese people. Marx and Engels recognize the contribution of Chinese civilization to the world civilization and has predicted the appearance of Chinese socialism. And they even named the new China, the Republic of China. Since modern times, the task for the Chinese people has become national independence, people's liberalization, and realization for well-being of the country and welfare of the people. the farmers' fight has come to an end. The reformist movement continue to fail. Capitalist revolution and other plans by Western capitalism didn't fall through. But at this time, the October Revolution has brought China Marxist-Leninism, pointing to a new direction for the Chinese people and offering a new choice for us to realize national liberalization. In this great historical trend, a party that is guided by Marxism and carry the responsibility of national rejuvenation, and one that will lead the Chinese party to create miracles, that is the Communist Party of China, was born. After the establishment of CPC, the Chinese communists combined the basic theory of Marxism with the experiences of Chinese Revolution and guided the people to complete the revolution of a new democratism and socialism, and establish the People's Republic of China and basic system of socialism. We have undergone daunting challenges and exploration for socialism, and we have realized the transformation from zero to hero, and this great leap has demonstrated with ironclad fact that only socialism can save China. Since reform and opening up, the Chinese communists combined the basic theory of Marxism with the practice and reality of China's reform and opening up, and guided people to conduct practice to build a socialism with Chinese characteristics. China is catching up with the times, and the entire Chinese nation has become more well-off. This great leap also demonstrated with ironclad fact that only socialism with Chinese characteristics can develop China. In a new age, the Chinese communists again combined the theory of Marxism with the reality of China in a new time, and guided the people to build new projects, advance new causes, and realize great dreams, and push the cause of the party and the country to make historical breakthroughs in all aspects, and realize profound and fundamental historical transformation. The Chinese nation has transformed from being well off and to becoming stronger. This great leap demonstrated with ironclad facts that only if we stick to socialism with Chinese characteristics can we realize the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. Our practice shows that the fate of Marxism is deeply connected to the fate of the CPC, of the Chinese people, and the Chinese nation. its truthfulness has been fully tested in China. Its people-based feature and practicalness has been carried through in China. Its openness has been fully demonstrated in China.
Practice has proven that Marxism has also provided a powerful thought weapon to China's revolution, construction, and reform, which has enabled China, this ancient Oriental country, to create an unprecedented development miracles in human history. And we can say that it is 100% correct that history and people has chosen Marxism. And it is also 100% correct that the Chinese Communist Party has put the Marxism on its own banner. To uphold the basic principle of Marxism with Chinese practice and keep driving the Marxism with Chinese characteristics and coping with time, which is also correct. What we can tell Marx is that, guided by Marxism, China has successfely embarked on the journey to comprehensively build a strong, socialist, modernized country. Chinese communists, as the loyal embracers, firm practitioners, are making our endeavor to adhere and develop Marxism with tenacity. Comrades, Engels once said, if a nation wants to stand at the forefront of science, it must have theoretical thinking all the time. So if the Chinese nation wants to realize national rejuvenation, we should always base ourselves on the theoretical thinking all the time. Marxism is always the guiding thinking for our party and the country. It helps us to know the world, manage the rules, seek the truth, and change the world as a strong thinking weapon. Marxism theory are extensive and profound. You always can find something new through your continuous study. In this new era, Chinese communists should keep studying Marx and study and practice Marxism. Keep absorbing the scientific intelligence and theoretical power. With the overall plan of the five-sphere integrated plan and the four-pronged comprehensive strategy, we should be more loyal and become more confident and more intelligent to adhere to and develop the socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era, to ensure that the national rejuvenation vessel will always sail on the right direction. To study Marx is to learn and practice Marxism regarding the thought of general rules and laws of human society development. Marxist science reveals that the inevitable trend of the human society is towards communism. Marx and Engels always believed that a future society should be such a union where everyone's free development is the condition of all the people's progress. What proletariat lost in the revolution is just a change, but what they will gain is the whole world. Marx believes that the historical tide is surging forward with great momentum. As long as the people become their own master, the master of the society, and the master of human society development, the ideal of communists will be realized step by step through the movement in coping with the existing conditions. Marxism has laid the theoretical foundation for the communists to firmly uphold their belief. We should master fully the dialectical and historical materialism and put them into the world outlook and methodologies to fully and deeply realize the communists through one and the other milestones and to realize the whole historic journey. We should bring the great ideal of communists with the China's socialism with Chinese characteristics together and integrate the work, what we are doing, and firmly stick to the confidence in past theory, system, and culture of socialism with Chinese characteristics, and firmly uphold the ideal belief of communists. We should, like Marx, to dedicate ourselves to communists. To study Marx is to learn and practice Marxism regarding people-centered philosophy. People is the profound characteristics of Marxism. Marx said the historical movement is the movement of the people. To free the people is Marx's lifelong pursuit. We should always put people's position as our fundamental position, to make people's happiness as our fundamental mission, to uphold wholeheartedly, to serve for the people, to implement the mass land and respect people's dominant position and pioneering spirit. Always keep the flesh-blood relationship with the people and gather the powerful strength to forge ahead and unite and lead the people together to create a historical course. This is the inevitable choice by respecting the historical rules, which is also the aspiration of communists and also the self-consciousness to shoulder the mission firmly. To study Marx is to learn and practice Marxism regarding the productive force and the relationship of production. Marxism believes that material productive force is the material precondition of all social activities, together with the matching production relations to form the economic foundation. Productive force is the most active and revolutionary factors to drive the society further progress. The sum of the productive force decides the society condition. So the relation between productive force and its relations, the economic foundation and the superstructures interact and reinforce each other, is also make the society moving forward. This is also the fundamental requirement to free and develop the socialist production. This is also for the Chinese communists to work hard to explore and solve the key issues. After establishment of PRC, especially after the reform and opening up, within less than 70 years, the party has led the people unswervingly to free and develop socialist production. and finish the journeys that the Western world used for more than 100 years to accomplish, and make us become the world's second largest economy in a short time period. We should be brave to make full round of deep reform, to self-consciously utilize and inject the energy of social productions, and also make the foundation can cope with the superstructures and make the Chinese socialism move forward following the rules. To study Marx is to learn and practice Marxism regarding people's democracy. Marx and Engels pointed out that the movement of proletariat involves the majority of society, and that's the movement to seek the interest for the majorities. As long as the working levels gain the right to rule, it should not continue to use the old system to manage the country. To replace, it should use a new and a genuine national structure and systems. So the national organs should change itself from the master of society to public servants and receive people's supervision. We should firmly follow the path of socialism with Chinese characteristics to develop our political development. To firmly uphold the people's become the master, the party become the leader, and integrally drive the development of democracy in China, to build the safeguarding system to make sure the people can master their own affairs, and to speed up the modernization system and the capacity of governance, and fully mobilize people's proactive, innovative, creative features to fully implement people's democracy in an effective way. To study Marxism is to learn and study Marxism regarding cultural development. Marx believes that in different conditions in terms of economy and social development, people produce different culture and ideologies. It decides the economic foundation and also have the reaction to the economic foundation. The advanced ideological culture, once mastered by the society, can change to a powerful material power. On the other hand side, if we not conquer the outdated and wrong concept, it will be the showstopper for the social development and progress. The theoretical consciousness and the cultural confidence are the driving forces for a nation to forge ahead. The value advance freedom of thoughts is the vibrant of the whole society. The national spirit should lie in its culture and embrace in its culture. Standing in China, we should face towards the modernization to the whole world and to the future. We should cement the guiding position of Marxism in ideological sector. We should develop the cultural development in socialism and strengthen the construction in this respect, and also bring the socialist core value, integrate into every aspect of social development, and also promote the creative transfer of China's traditional fun culture, and in a creative way to increase people's ideological awareness, moral standards, civilization, accomplishment, and to keep creating glories of Chinese culture. To study Marx is to learn and practice Marxism regarding social construction. According to the prediction made by Marx and Engels, In the future society, the prosperity should be the ultimate goal of production. Everyone should enjoy the well-being created by all. Engels combines Marx, the Communist Manifesto, the critique of the Gotha program, thus capital illustrates that under the condition of socialism, the society should provide a healthy and beneficial work and should provide sufficient material life and spare time to all the people, and also provide the true and sufficient freedom to all. Our fighting goal is to seek and meet people's demand regarding the happy life. We should firmly put people as our center development and also focus on the key concerns of the society and provide and safeguard and improve people's well-being, promote social fair and justice, to make sure all the educations can be delivered to all people and people can get paid and can have the health care, have the place to live, and the people who is in weakened condition can get help. Let the developed results deliver more benefits to people in a fair way in order to drive the development of the whole society and bring the people towards the prosperity together. Study Marx is to learn and practice Marxism regarding the relation between human being and nature. Marx believes that people live based on the nature. Nature not only provides the living resources like the abundant lands, the lakes with sufficient fisheries, and also provides the means of production. The nature forms the condition for human existence during the interaction, production, living and development. Human beings should be nice to the nature, and the nature will do the same to the human being. But if we utilize the science and the creativity to conquer the power of nature, then the nature would retaliate human being. Nature is the mother of life. Human and the nature are the shared community. We should revere, respect, in line with, and protect the nature. We should firmly adhere to the harmonious coexistence between the human being and the nature, and firmly and bring a concept to the actual action that the elusive mountain and lush water are the invaluable assets, and mobilize all the factors of society to forward building the cultural civilization and build a beautiful China that the people enjoy the beauty of nature, life, and to embark a way towards civilization featuring productive development, rich life, and good environment. To study Marx is to learn and study and practice Marxism regarding the thoughts of world history. Marx and Engels said that if every nation original and closed condition through the day-to-day interactions and the way of production, and also the form of new nations between these interactions will be out of the stage. Then the history will be the world history. The prediction made by Marx and Engels right now become the reality. History and the reality prove day by day that these predictions are with full historic and scientific value. Today, the globalization of human exchange is more in a deep and a broad way than ever before. We are highly interconnected and close to each other through our frequent exchange that also happened never before. The integrated world is there. Who rejects such world, then the world will reject that person in the same way. Everything can be cultivated without harmful to each other. All the roads can be in a parallel way without contradiction. We should stand at the historical height and to look at the current trend and the key issues we are facing around the world. We should stick to the peaceful development path and stick the independent diplomatic policies to uphold the openness strategy with win-win results and explore cooperation with other nations and actively participate in the global governance. We should realize a win-win cooperation and a common development in more areas and in higher levels. We will not rely on others nor plunder others. We will create together a shared community of shared future and destiny and create the world a better place. To study Marx is to learn and practice Marxism regarding the political party construction. Marx believes that the fight between the proletarian and the capital classes at all development stages, the communists always on behalf of the interest of the whole movement. They are in line with the proletarian's interest and seek the benefits for the majority people and fight for the communist society. The Communist Party will build a milestone that people can use it to measure the party's movement. We will always stay with the people and fight for the people's interests. And this is also the fundamental difference between Marxist Party and other parties. We will stay committed to the great battle, great projects, great cause, and great dreams to strengthen our political integrity, think in big picture terms, follow the leadership core, and keep in alignment. We will keep continuously to fully follow the law-based governance of the party and put the party's political construction as our key priority and strengthen party's overall leadership and uphold firmly the party's authority and the centralized unification. We will follow the Communist Party's characteristics of seeking the truth, correcting the wrongs, and always make our party to be ahead of the time, that the people fully support the party, and they also can be brave to make self-revolution, and we can stand against all the difficulties and times to become a vibrant Marxist ruling party. Communist. The Chinese Communist Party is equipped with the Marxism, and it is also the spirit of the Chinese Communist Party's ideal and belief. In 1938, Comrade Mao Zedong pointed out that if our party have 100 to 200 systematic but segmented, realistic, not empty, learning Marxism comrades, we can largely improve our combat power of the party. If we review the historical journey of the party, we can find that the Chinese Communist Party can conquer all the difficulties and grow stronger and larger. One of the key reasons is that our party always attached great importance to the party ideological construction, theoretical moves to strengthen the party, and make the party to always keep in alignment in thoughts and firmly in aspiration, in a coordinated movement to forge a strong combat strength. Nowadays, we're facing heavy mission in stabilizing reform development. Many prominent challenges and the big exams on government, political governance. These are all unprecedented. We should take the proactive role, should take and leverage our strategies and advantages and win the future. We should use Marxism to analyze and solve the recent issues we are facing and to take it as our scientific guidance to make us be strong enough to face the difficulties, face the challenges, and conquer the obstacles, and to break the key contradictions and solve the key issues. We should use the broader vision and long-term view to think and master the future development and to face the key issues in the future. We should let the Marxism belief and communist ideal firmly in mind. It has been 170 years since the publication of the Communist Manifesto. The human society has gone through the profound changes, but the general principle in the Marxism overall are 100%. We should firmly uphold and utilize the dialectical and historical materialism to become our world outlook and methodologies, to firmly use the Marxism position, point of view, methods, to keep using the Marxism's theory in material and development rules, as well as the thoughts of nature, history, and relevant rules of human society development, as well as the rules of human freedom and free and fully development. We should analyze and interpret the essence of these principles and its rules. We should utilize Marxism in the practice, mass line, class development, and contradiction view. We should fully learn, understand, and use the Marxism. To all the party members, especially the officials and the cadres, should be more self-consciously and work hard to study Marx-Leninism,
学习毛泽东思想、
Mao Zedong thought,
邓小平理
Deng
论、
Xiaoping theory,
三个代
the
表
theory
重要
of
思
three
想、
presents,
科学发展观、
scientific development
学
outlook,
习新时代中国特
and
色
study
社会主
the
义思想，
socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era.
要深入学、
We should learn in a detailed way,
刻苦学、
long term, and work really
带着问
hard
题学、
to learn the
联系实
Marxism,
际学，
to learn the
更好
theory
把科
with
学
the
思想理
actuals,
论
and
转化
to
为认识世界、
learn the theory with the
改造世
questions
界
and
的
also
强
bring these
大物
scientific
质力量。
theories and transfer them into the powerful strengths that we can
共产
understand
党
and
人要
change the
把
world.
读马克思主义经典、
The party members
悟马克思
should
主义原理
make
当做一种
the reading Marxism
生活习惯，
and interpreted Marxism series
当做
as
一
their
种
habit,
精神追求，
as one of their spirit's
用
pursuit.
经典
And we should use
涵养
all these
正
best-known
气，
titles to cultivate
淬炼思
restlessness,
想，
to improve our
升
thinking,
华境界，
improve
指导
our
世界。
levels of understandings, and guide our practice.
对待科学的理论必须有科学的态度。
Towards and
恩格斯
understand
深刻
the
指出，
scientific theories, we should
马克思
with
的整个
the
世界
scientific
观
attitude.
不是教义，
Engels once said that the
而是
overall
方法。
world outlook of Marx is not doctrine, it is
他提供
a
的
method.
不是现成的教条，
It not provide the
而是进
existing
一步
creed.
研究的出发
What
点
it provides is
和
a starting
共振
point
研究
of
使用的
study
方法。
and also its corresponding method.
恩格斯还指出，
Engels also
我
pointed
们的
out
理论
that our
是一种历史的产物，
theories is the
它在
result
不同
or
的时代
output of history.
具有完
And
全不同的形
It's
式，
changed
同时
and
具有
in a different shape
完全
and
不同
form
的
in
内容。
different ages with different content.
科学社会主义基本原则
The
不能丢，
general principle of scientific socialism should not
不是社会主义。
be
同时
abandoned. If we lost it, then we
科
cannot
学
say
社会
we
主
are
义
socialism.
绝不是
Also, at the
一
same
成不
time,
变的教条。
the scientific socialism is not
我说
the
过，
creed that never change.
当代中国
As I
的
said,
伟大社会变革，
In the
不是
current
简
time,
单
the
延
China's
续
great social
我国历史
transformation
文化
is not
的
just
模板，
simply copy the master version of
不是
China's
简单套
historic
用
culture. It's
马
not
克
just
思主义经
simply
典作
to
家设想
follow
的模板，
the ideal
不是
template
其他国家
of
社会主
Marxism.
义实践
It's
的
also
再版
not a second edition of
也不是
other countries' practice
外
of
国现代
socialism.
化
It
发
also
展
not
的翻版。
a reproduction of
社会主义
other countries'
并没
modernization.
有定于一尊、一
Socialism,
成不变的套路，
there is no one for all
只有把科学社
method,
会主义基本
and that
原理
method should
同本国
be
具体实
changed.
际、
as long
历
as
史文化
we
传统
use the
时代
general
要求
principle of scientific socialism
结合起来，
with the actual
在实践
practice
中不断
historical
探索总
tradition
结，
and follow
才能把
the
蓝
a
图
trend, and we
变
should
为
keep
美好的现实。
apply to the practice to make the blueprint into a bright
理论的
future.
生命力在于不断
The
创新
vitality of theory lies in
推动马克思主义
innovation.
不断发展，
To drive the
是
further
中国共
development
产
of
党人
Marxism
的神圣
is the
职责
hollow responsibility of Chinese
我
communists.
们要坚持用马克思主
We
义
should firmly
观察
uphold
时代，
and use the
解读
Marxism
时
to
代
observe the history and the
引领
time,
时代
to interpret the time,
用鲜活丰富的
and
当
lead the
代中
time
国实践
and use
来
the
推动
varied and
马克思
rich
主义发展，
practice in China
用
to
宽广
drive
视野
development of Marxism
吸收
and
人类
use
创
the
造的
broader
一切
vision
优
to
秀文明
absorb
成果，
the excellent cultural
坚持
results
在改
created
革
by
中
human beings.
守正初心，
And we should
不断超
maintain
越
the
自
things
己，
we're doing correct and create
在开放
new
中博
initiatives
采众长，
and also surpass
不断
ourselves
完善
and
自己，
absorb the strengths of all others and
不断深
improve
化对
ourselves. We
共
should
产党
keep deepen
执政规律、社会主义建设规
the
律、
a ruling
人类社会发展规律的认识，
rules of the party the construction rules of the socialism and the rules of social society development. We should embark the new journey towards moderate Chinese Marxism and 21st century Marxism. Comrade, today we are here to commemorate Marx. It's also to pay the tribute to the greatest thinker in human history. And we are also here to manifest that our firm belief in Marx's scientific theory. Engels said, as long as we keep playing the role of materialism and apply it in the contemporary time, a strong revolutionary prospect will very soon in front of us than never before. In our way forged ahead, we should keep upholding the great banner of Marxism higher. Let the ideal of Marx and Engels, that the bright prosperity of the society, of human society, will be more vibrant in China. Thank you.